Hi, everybody. John Felt here, and this is the Blue Water Outlook weekly weather briefing for March 24th. I'm combining several of my briefings this weekend. I'm on travel, visiting my grandkids, and I've got a number of things going on, birthday parties and soccer games and whatnot. But I'm going to give you a good briefing today, and there's a lot going on. One of the things that we've talked about is a lost winter, and many areas might not think that after the next couple of days. So let's first take a look at where spring is progressing. And this is the spring leaf index anomaly. And these areas have darker shades of red. Spring has come really early, a couple weeks, maybe even 3 weeks. You can see it's extending now into Iowa, starting to get into the upper Midwest. So at least from that side, you would think that spring has made it into the area. Now, the spring bloom index is where trees are fully blossomed. And I drove from St. Louis down to Atlanta and went through this area here. And you can really notice the difference that the trees are much fuller than perhaps they are up here in St. Louis, where just the understory and some of the early trees like dogwoods and lilacs and stuff, those are just starting to come out. So we're trying to get spring going, but we're going to have a bit of a delay this week. And actually, we've had some colder air recently as well. And that is spring. It's a battle between winter and spring. So anyway, we've talked about this lost winter. This is the accumulated winter season severity index. And the red dots have had a really mild winter. And take a look at the red triangles. That's a record mild winter. So Minneapolis, for example, Rochester, good parts of Wisconsin, record mild winter. The reason I bring that up is because a lot of this briefing is going to be talking about this gathering storm system. Already have snow in this region, winter storm warnings all through this region. So after a record mild winter, the upper Midwest, parts of the Great Lakes, northern plains, it's going to be slammed with a major winter storm. Now, I mentioned some colder air. Well, we've had some colder air push in with this area of high pressure here, and winds are coming from the north here. We had a coastal low produce a lot of rain. I'll show you that in a minute along the east coast. And then behind it, it's starting to stream moisture into this system from the Gulf of Mexico. So here's the rain and snow we had last week. The Northeast U.S., including parts of pretty close to Washington, D.C., New York, had quite a bit of rain. We also had some heavy rain, up to 5 inches of rain in the far southern tip of the Florida Peninsula, and parts of the south central U.S. also had rain. The reason this is interesting or important here, critical, is because there's going to be more heavy rain this week, and that is the possibility of some flooding with that overlap of systems. So we got a lot of snow last week as well in the Northeast U.S., and we just started getting the snow from this next system up in the upper Midwest. Now, temperatures last week were colder than normal. For many weeks, I've been showing a lot of red and yellow, but that's been confined up to the Pacific Northwest, where there were record high temperatures in parts of Washington State, Oregon, and western parts of Montana. Meanwhile, the upper Midwest, you can see that we had below normal temperatures. Now, wind chills are pretty strong. We have some high winds. This was yesterday, and also some cold weather. So we're getting wind chills in the single digits in spots. Okay, so here's the culprit that's going to be producing the winter storm. We have the first lobe of this low produced the colder air that overspread the eastern part of the U.S. Here's the second lobe, and that's going to produce the winter storm. But by Friday, it's going to be somewhat of a reverse. We're going to have a ridge of high pressure building over the eastern U.S., and that should allow for temperatures to rebound. Another sign of spring is variable temperatures, and you can sort of see that here. If you look at the next 15 days, really that cold air gradually shrinks. Then as the ridge builds, we have some milder air over the central and eastern U.S. This is the March This looks like this goes March 29th through April 3rd. And then maybe a little bit of cooler air in again as we get into the early part of April. So a bit of a roller coaster. I think the snow on the ground is going to probably influence the upper Midwest temperatures. Okay, so here is the system that's coming through early this week. This weekend and into early in the week, it's going to provide a wide variety of weather impacts: high winds, heavy snow, flooding rain, some severe storms, and even a fire weather danger in a few spots that remain dry. So here's the precipitation forecast for the next week. I think what we're focused on is this area of heavy rain here because it's a back-to-back overlap. And then this area of precipitation here, that's coming mainly in the form of snow and some ice. So here's the snow, over a foot of snow in spots over parts of Minnesota. Most snow we've had all winter. And on the southern edge of the snowpack, we're going to have quite a bit of ice. Now finally, here's the extended outlook. And as that ridge builds, here's the mild air. And then week 2, we sort of dividing line here with the western U.S. a little bit below normal and the eastern U.S. a little bit above normal. That's this week's weather briefing. I wish you all a great week. I'll be talking again with you soon. Take care.